Hi, I'm Jonas, better known as Primo in the scene. I'm a DJ producer from Berlin. We are right now in the beautiful studio in the beautiful countryside of France, La Dordogne. I started making music when I was 15 years old in the late 90s, messing around with Fruity Loops 1.0 and the Yamaha SU10, which I later upgraded to an SU20, I think it was. After I done with hip-hop beats, I discovered the whole electronic musical world, like break beats, house, techno, drum and bass, downbeat. I developed my skills in the early 2000s and I co-founded the DJ duo Drauf und Dran in 2008 and went on tour all over Europe for 4 years. After that, I took a step back and focused more on my production skills and supporting other artists with mixing, mastering and composing electronic music. And of course, developed my own project, Primo Taut. A friend of mine told me about the Exquis and I tested it, and it was quite the journey with it, and it was quite fun. I hooked it up to my PC. And I thought to myself, wow, there is a lot in this little box. I need to go step by step. I really took my time to discover the layout and everything. I didn't use the MPE and the expressiveness at first. After like a week or so, when I really felt comfortable with the layout and the melodies I can create and the harmonies I could play with it, I started the MPE and I never want to go back and play without expression. In this piece, I recorded the percussion with the MPE feature, which makes it really easy to record expressive percussion, because if I activate the arpeggiator, for example, and I wiggle it around, I have the pitch bend that modulates, and plus I have the pressure that gives it like a little velocity curve. I also used it for transitional sounds like the horns. And if I wiggle it, I have a slight pitch bend here, and if I go up and use the slide parameter, I have a variation on the LFO, and this makes a really good sound. You know, I'm self-taught musically. I don't have a classical education, so I have to train a lot. If I find a nice melody and to play it fluently, I have to train it quite a lot. And the Exquis helps me with that. The isomorphic layout makes it intuitive. It's quite genius because I'm only stacking minor and major thirds onto each other to find like good chords, and it's easier to play around and mess around with the melodies with the Exquis. The learning curve wasn't steep, and I can really easily follow the scales I selected. The Exquis is quite well integrated into life. Here I can change the tempo of the whole arrangement. And I can easily select my scales with those two rotaries. With this, I can select the root note. And I always wanted to play in different modes than just the minor or major. And I really was happy to discover the Phrygian scale, which is number 17 in life. And if I stay on the lights, I always play in scale. I mainly use it to write bass lines, melodies, mess around with different chord progressions. You can stack really easy chords onto each other. It makes a really good companion for me. And it's quite small, so it fits right on my desktop. Right now I'm using it for about 3 months. Before the integration with Live, I used it on and off, exchanged with the keyboard, and now with the Live integration where I can arm solo tracks, launch clips, launch scenes, and have a really good integration with Ableton, I use it daily. Key features I really like about the Ableton Live integration are the session view, where I control start my clips, arm and solo tracks. I can mix quite fastly with the rotaries on top. If I push that button, you can see now the session view is aligned and it works like the launch pad. So if I go down here, it started my different scenes. Here I can select clips I have pre-recorded. With this button I stop And once again, here I have my solos. And my mute. And when I push that button, I can create new tracks. Another feature in the session view is the rotaries here mapped to the 4 tracks selected for the parameter volume. And if I click the second rotary, it's the panning. And if I click the third, it's the send A. And if I click the fourth, it's the send B. And the other key feature I like is that I can store my presets and really charge them really fast. When I press this button, I can store up to 6 folders, which I can select with the slider down here, and store directly my presets. And with the push of the button, I can recall them and load them into the track. Down here, there are all parameters who are pre-mapped to the 4 rotaries up there. So if I grab the first parameter, I have the filter. What's really cool with the integration in Ableton, the Exquis stores the layouts of each track individually. So for example, right now I'm in the horns. And when I select the drum rack, I have it here. And when I change to the flute, I have the flute with another octave. My creative workflow, well, normally I start out with the idea in my head. I have a sample I want to use, or I have like a melody which stuck in my head, which I sang under the shower or something like this. And then I go straight to my desktop and start working. And right now the Exquis helps me really well to develop those ideas I have in my head. Normally I begin with a basic beat, like 4/4, because I do a lot of house and techno right now. Then I mess around with a sample or a melody I have in my head, and that is where the Exquis comes in really fast, because it helps me to discover new melodies for bass lines or for lead lines. And from there I go recording arpeggios and all the other stuff. So I just put on the arpeggiator. With the sustain button, it holds my chords and I can vary them really good. And if I want to have like more complex chords, it's really fun to play around with the arpeggiator this way. I have a new single coming out. It's called Banzuri. I used it all over the production. I made a MPE flute to play with the Exquis, and it really fits well in a dub techno-y kind of sound. Since the Ableton Live integration, the Exquis became my go-to keyboard, and I use it daily for composing.